On September 18th, 2025, something happened that nobody saw coming. Seriously, two of the tech industry's biggest, most bitter rivals just joined forces. It set off a domino effect that's probably going to reshape, well, everything. So, how do we get here? Let's dig into the deal that ended a war that's been raging for decades.
For as long as most of us can remember, this was the fight. On one side, you had NVIDIA, the undisputed king of GPUs, the engine powering this whole AI explosion. And on the other, you had Intel, the legend, the giant that literally put a CPU inside almost every computer on Earth. These guys were not friends. They were fierce competitors, battling it out for every last inch of the market.
And then, boom, just like that, it was over. The rivalry that basically defined an entire generation of computing, gone. A new, and let's be honest, a completely shocking alliance was born.
It all kicked off with an initial $5 billion deal. But as you're about to see, that was really just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, so here's the deal in a nutshell. NVIDIA drops a cool $5 billion to partner up with Intel. The goal? To build custom AI chips together. So you've got NVIDIA bringing its absolute A game in AI and GPU design, and you've got Intel bringing its iconic CPU know-how and, this is the really important part, its manufacturing plants right here in the US.
But see, that $5 billion? That was just the start. It became very clear very fast that this wasn't just some friendly partnership. This was a massive, coordinated rescue plan for a struggling American titan.
First in, the heavyweight, the U.S. government. They poured in a massive $8.9 billion through the CHIPS Act, the law meant to bring chip manufacturing back to America. That investment alone makes them Intel's single largest shareholder.
Then you've got the investment powerhouse, SoftBank. They're in for $2 billion. Their angle? They see a future where they can pair Intel's manufacturing muscle with their own companies, like the chip designer ARM. It's a strategic ecosystem play.
And that, of course, brings us back to NVIDIA's own $5 billion. This was the catalyst. This was the investment that brought all these other powerful players to the table and made the whole thing happen.
So you add it all up, and what do you get? You get a staggering $15.9 billion unified plan. This is an absolutely unprecedented effort to bring Intel back from the brink and put it right back at the center of the global tech stage.
So this chart gives you a pretty clear picture of the new power dynamic inside Intel. You've got this new trio, the US government, NVIDIA, and SoftBank. Now, together, they only own about 16% of the company, but don't let that number fool you. Their shared goals give them this immense, focused influence over where Intel goes next. And this, of course, leads to the biggest question of all. Why? I mean, really, why would a fierce rival, a Japanese investment giant, and the US government all team up to save Intel? Well, the answer has a lot less to do with quarterly earnings and, well, everything to do with geopolitics.
This isn't just a business deal. It is a major strategic move, and what a lot of people are now calling the AI Cold War. The single shared mission of this new power trio is to build a powerful, self-reliant, American-based AI manufacturing hub to act as a direct counterweight to China's ambitions in tech.
The playbook here is pretty straightforward. First, lock down the American semiconductor supply chain. Second, dramatically reduce the country's dependence on Taiwan's manufacturing giant TSMC. You've probably heard this called the Taiwan Risk. And third, make damn sure that critical US technology doesn't end up in the hands of global rivals.
Now, you can't make a move this big on the global stage without sending some serious shockwaves through the entire industry. And believe me, those shockwaves are creating a whole new landscape of winners and losers.
All right, let's break down the scorecard here, because the stakes are incredibly high. For Intel, this is a golden ticket. It's a lifeline that gives them a path back to the top with a massive new customer. For NVIDIA, it's a brilliant move. They get to diversify their manufacturing away from Taiwan and just tighten their grip on the AI world. But for a competitor like AMD, this is code red. This is an existential threat. And for TSMC, this is their absolute worst nightmare coming true. The very real possibility of losing their single most important customer.
But, and this is a huge but, for all the strategic planning and all the money being thrown around, this is still one of the biggest gambles the tech world has ever seen. A $15.9 billion bet is still a bet. And success? Oh, it is far from a sure thing. There are at least 3 giant hurdles they have to clear. First, the technical risk.
Can Intel's factories, which have stumbled in recent years, really meet the insane, cutting-edge standards that NVIDIA demands? Second, there's political risk. This whole thing is built on government support. What happens if a new administration comes in and decides to change direction? And finally, competitive risk. You don't back giants like AMD and TSMC into a corner and expect them to just sit there. How are they going to punch back?
So, the chess pieces are all on the board. A new chapter in this global tech competition has officially begun. This alliance has created a powerful new weapon in America's arsenal for AI supremacy. But the ultimate question, the one that everything hinges on, is still unanswered. Can a nearly $16 billion gamble, born out of rivalry and necessity, actually bring a fallen giant back to life?